From power couples who dominate the earth to the most expensive divorces of all time, this is the Billionaire Wife Tier List. Bill married Melinda Gates in 1994. Even knowing how it would turn out, Bill said he wouldn't have chosen to marry anyone else. But Bill also described their divorce as the single most miserable thing him and Melinda had ever been through. Bill cheated on Melinda multiple times with multiple women, but Bill meeting with Jeffrey Epstein was the nail in the coffin for their marriage. This does not surprise me, though, in a marriage where Bill would formally ask Melinda for permission to continue to see one of his ex-girlfriends. They took weekend getaways to a beach cottage in North Carolina. For years, they fought, battled, and argued in legal disputes, and Melinda walked away with a net worth, as of recording this video, $17 billion. Melinda is now dating the young and handsome Philip Vaughn, who is nearly 12 years younger than her, and Bill is with Paula Hurd. But Melinda has a bad attitude. She was nicknamed the General at Microsoft, F tier. By the end of this video, I will show you this isn't even the most expensive divorce of all time. Comment below who you think that is. Larry Ellison married Jolene Zhu, his fifth wife. Why did these billionaires have so many wives? Steve Jobs was the official wedding photographer at one of them, and Larry is now working diligently towards his $263 billion. Jolene is 47 years younger than him. When Larry bought his first private jet, she was in elementary school. 47 years ago was 1978. The internet wasn't invented. 1978 was also the last known case of smallpox, and in vitro fertilization wasn't even invented yet. When Larry turned 60, she wasn't even old enough to drink. I think I've made my point. But apparently she helped secure Bryce Underwood's spot at the University of Michigan. So, as a huge Michigan fan, A tier, Jolene. Larry Page booked an entire private island when he married Lucinda Southworth in 2007. That island was owned by another billionaire. You might have heard of him, Richard Branson. You know what they say, the bigger the island, the bigger the... Never mind. Richard Branson had the FAA reroute flights around his island during the ceremony so they would keep quiet. These people literally don't live like the rest of us. Lucinda seems nice, but apparently she's taller than him? Wow. C tier. Priscilla Chan met Mark Zuckerberg at Harvard. Priscilla had humble beginnings. She grew up in a first-generation immigrant family, and she worked her ass off to go to one of the best universities in the world. But meeting Mark Zuckerberg is where everything changed. Priscilla imposed rules on him. One date night a week, 100 minutes of non-work related alone time, and the day of Facebook's IPO, they got married in a surprise ceremony. And from that day, Priscilla's life would never be the same. Priscilla and Mark founded the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI, in 2015. It's basically like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they promised 99% of their Facebook stock to the foundation.
Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg promising to give away 99% of his shares of the company to charity in a letter to his newborn daughter.
This was sent in a letter to their child about what they should do with all of their wealth. But the CZI is not a traditional charity. It's a limited liability corp. They can invest in public for-profit companies, make political donations, and basically do shit that just real charities can't. It's a smokescreen for the public. The CZI just shut down a school with almost 400 children to pursue AI initiatives instead. Today, they have a combined net worth of nearly $300 billion. You could give 10 of your closest friends $100 million and it'd be a rounding error. You could buy Boeing, the shitty airplane company, twice, but they have been in love ever since. No cheating scandals, a seemingly unified public image, and she helped reshape Meta's PR disaster, and even Zuck's weird new personal brand. Mark also built the weirdest statue of his wife I have ever seen. It's 7 feet tall. You know what isn't 7 feet tall? The subscribe button. I think Priscilla is the human half of Mark Zuckerberg, B tier. But this next wife shows you how picking the wrong partner just might destroy your entire life. The next one is so insane, I had to triple check my sources. Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, married Nicole Shanahan. Yes, her. RFK's running mate for president of the United States. They kept separate mansions on the same street in Los Altos. Nicole preferred separate beds and separate routines. no big deal. In Sergey's mansion, Elon would sometimes even sleep on the couch while he was visiting on Silicon Valley. This is important, remember this. But tensions rose when Sergey and Nicole had a child for the first time. That child turned out to be autistic, and Nicole, she began to wonder, was it all the vaccines her daughter had been given?
Any vaccines that you think should be mandated for children?
I don't think mandates should exist for any healthcare decisions related to children.
I guess her running with RFK makes a little bit more sense now. But their child caused huge relationship issues that would boil into some truly insane behavior. During their marriage, Sergey's wife was known for partying with the highest of highest elites in Silicon Valley. Cocaine, ketamine, and magic mushrooms, nothing was off the table. In 2021, she needed an IV infusion after overdosing. But this was not the real reason Sergey had to call it quits. That same year, Nicole went to a private party in Miami hosted by Elon's brother, Kimball. Elon was there. Elon and Nicole decided to get close. Railing lines of ketamine, feuding about vaccines causing autism, probably. Finally, disappearing for several hours. Exactly what you are thinking happened. Nicole had sex with Elon. Ruh-roh. Nicole decided she wanted to sleep with the king of all billionaires. Elon begged for Sergey's forgiveness. He dropped to one knee at a party expressing his remorse. But the affair destroyed Elon and Sergey's friendship and obliterated Nicole and Sergey's marriage. Weeks after, Sergey filed for divorce, and he wrote Nicole a $1 billion check. It's pretty bizarre. You can still act like a child at 40, Nicole. Easiest D tier of my life. But if you think this is bad, we haven't even started. Wait until you hear about all 3 of Elon's wives. Elon Musk married Tallulah Riley just 6 weeks after divorcing his first wife, Justine. We'll get to Justine. He proposed to Tallulah twice by email. Tallulah she's a famous actress. When they first met, she said, "I decided to be really nice to him and give him a nice evening. Little did I know that he'd spoken to a lot of pretty girls in his life." They got married at the Dornick Cathedral in Scotland. Their marriage was a roller coaster. Tallulah was Elon's second trophy wife. He had no time for her, but Tallulah served as a great stepmom for all of Elon's flurry of kids. She was the perfect wife. Don't take my word for it. Elon said this himself. But just 2 years later, Elon filed for divorce. He needed to colonize Mars.
I remember one evening he said, "Would you like to come back to my hotel room so we can look at rocket videos?" And I thought, I was like, okay. We did get into his hotel room and he did just show me rocket videos.
And Tallulah got a $2 million payment, but only for them to get remarried a second time. In what seemed like just moments later, for the most bizarre reason I have ever seen. I suppose the reason to get remarried was just because it felt silly to be together unmarried after having been married, Riley said. You know, it's like a habit. We were saying, this is my husband, this is my wife. Oh, wait, no, we're not that anymore. We better be that again. What? Oh, yeah, you know, it was just a force of habit. I didn't really think much about it. This relationship is absolutely bizarre. Elon would text her, "I'm the alpha," during arguments. Not joking. There were 18-hour work days where she wouldn't even see him once despite them living in the same house. Riley divorced him 4 years later, but this time Elon was 8 times more generous. He gave her a $16 million settlement to leave him alone. Honestly, pretty cheap for a man worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Tallulah hated being a trophy wife. Tallulah, A tier. Actually, D tier for making the same mistake twice. Elon also dated Grimes right after he split up with Amber Heard. I don't have time to go into it. Look it up.
Did Amber ever pay a charity using your money?
Yeah, Amber loved giving to charity, as long as it was my money.
Grimes, singer and DJ who doesn't actually know how to DJ, C tier. But Justine and Elon Musk is where things get really interesting. Justine was Elon's first wife. She saw it all from the very beginning. She witnessed the transformation of Elon Musk from a passionate entrepreneur to an egomaniac billionaire.
Somebody like Elon must have a darkness in his soul.
Elon is the wealthiest person alive. The Billionaires Index, my favorite pastime, has him at number 1 with a net worth of $447 billion, $500 billion. Justine is worth only $15 million. I mean, it's not nothing, but that is 1/30,000th of Elon's current wealth. Justine asked for their house, child support, 10% of his Tesla shares, 5% of his SpaceX shares, $6 million, and a glacier blue Tesla Roadster. That's a really good ask, Justine. I'll be honest. There's some taste in that ask. Today, that would have been worth close to $17.3 billion. But Elon made sure she got no equity in the divorce, and she was left and sent on her way with $20 million. Justine got fucked. A tier. Elon Musk has 14 different children with 4 different women. In some ways, maybe Elon saved her from joining this elusive class of toxic billionaires. Donald Trump married Melania, Ivana, and Marla. Melania, she's the only one with her own meme coin. B tier. Ivana and Marla, C tier. Kim and Kanye got married in Italy in 2014. It was a luxury wedding, costing millions and millions of dollars. But this was a strange moment in time for the world. The early 2010s was like the advent of Instagram, right? It's when society still idolized these celebrities. We weren't caught up in our own microcultures. These people were interesting. We cared. And looking back, it's really hard to understand why detached celebrities were very, very interesting until, I guess, they weren't. Their relationship was so fraught, to say the least. Kanye literally designed Kim Kardashian. He made her throw out her entire wardrobe so he could rebuild her image in the public eye. Kanye had a full-time stylist.
Oh, no, I need these. Oh, yes.
Whose job it was to match Kim's outfit.
Tell me the whole process.
Well, I will have to say my husband styled me tonight. He actually picked this out and sent me this look.
He wanted their visuals to look cinematic in paparazzi photos. Kim said Kanye would erupt if she posted a picture wearing a color that was outside of the palette for his current album era. But in 2016, Kim swooped in to save him after his public breakdown and hospitalization. Kanye seems to have no problem putting his mental illnesses on full display.
From a hospital visit, but if we were to go online, that's 50% of what people say at least. It doesn't matter!
And everybody hates this guy now. And Kim is more self-obsessed than any other reality TV star in history. And in 2021, it finally happened. The inevitable. Kim files for divorce. Kim handled everything in private until Kanye ran for president, called her family white supremacist, and finally publicly said that Kim wanted to abort North, their child. Northwest, it's insane. But despite being a billionaire, Kanye still pays $200,000 a month in child support. Yeah, $200,000 a month. That is 4 times your annual salary a month. Kim and Kanye both D tier. But this next marriage costs this guy way more than $200K a month. This next marriage makes Kim and Kanye look like Romeo and Juliet. Rupert Murdoch married Patricia Booker, Wendy Dang, and Jerry Hall. Rupert is the king of divorce. He owns Fox News, a media titan. Rupert ended his 4th marriage over email.
Jerry, sadly, I've decided to call an end to our marriage. We have certainly had some good times, but I have much to do. My New York lawyer will be contacting yours immediately.
In the most ironic way possible, Jerry is the writer of the hit TV show Succession, and in the divorce agreement, she is explicitly prohibited from using their marriage as ideas for the show. I mean, you can't make this up. Succession was actually originally inspired from the Murdoch family. Comical. A tier for Jerry, Wendy Dang, boring. B tier, and Patricia Booker is dead. It is not right to rank the dead. But Anna is the most interesting marriage of all. Anna and Rupert had 3 kids. The heirs to the Iron Media throne of Westeros, Lachlan Murdoch will be the next king to sit on that throne. Anna and Rupert had a turbulent marriage. She described him as extremely hard, ruthless, and determined. To make matters even worse, Anna was nearly kidnapped and murdered, not by Rupert, but by their son, Lachlan. I'm just kidding. That does actually sound like an episode of Succession. But in 1969, this actually happened, by the way, kidnappers broke into the home of Alec McKay, but they thought they were taking Rupert's wife. By accident, robbers snatched and murdered one of Murdoch's executives' wives.
You were the intended target for the kidnappers.
Yes.
That must have been a nightmare.
It wasn't so bad for us as it was for Alec McKay.
Alec McKay, she was never seen again. Kidnapped, murdered, the body was never recovered. Anna's fortune did make a pretty quick turn though. Rupert and Anna divorced after Rupert decided to have an affair with Wendy Dang. She raked in $1.7 billion in assets and $110 million in cash. At the time, this was the largest divorce in history. Coming up next is the most expensive divorce of all time. But Anna didn't take nearly as much as she could have. California is a community property state, meaning in divorce, Anna was entitled to half of Rupert's assets, but she only took a small fraction of what she could have. Also, back in the day, Anna was a smoke show and rich. S tier. Jeff Bezos married Lauren Sanchez, and she forced him to move to a $237 million compound in Miami. Lauren, for reasons I'll show you at the end, F tier. Jeffrey married Mackenzie Bezos in 1993. Bill Clinton was just inaugurated as president of the United States. The first attack on the World Trade Center took place, and the World Wide Web was released to the general public. It's hard to say which of those was worse, but Jeff started to notice something. Web traffic was surging, growing
at 2,300% a year. And so the question was, what kind of business plan would make sense in the context of that growth? Came up with books. There are more of them than there are products of any other category.
Him and his wife left their jobs to found Amazon.com. Mackenzie was integral to the start of the company. She wrote checks, she kept the books, and negotiated the company's very first contracts. From the garage, Mackenzie was employee number 1. As you know, Amazon grew from a small online bookstore to one of the most powerful and valuable and hated companies in all of the history of the world. How did he treat his number 1 employee? They were besties, cherished friends. That's why Jeff decided to put out a statement. Jeff said, after a long period
of loving exploration, trial separation, they've decided to divorce and continue to
shared lives as friends. But what really happened? Well, they were together for 25 long years, and after 25 years, you get tired of reading the same book. If you catch my drift, Jeff was cheating on Mackenzie with Lauren. All hell broke loose. Photos, texts, private jet flights surfaced. A separation timeline that showed a little bit of overlap. The divorce was finalized in 2019. Mackenzie received 25% of Jeff's Amazon stock after the split, but Jeff wanted power. He kept all of the voting shares over his company. Mackenzie got a payout. Jeff got ultimate control. But as it turns out, 25% of his shares is a lot of money. Mackenzie changed her last name to Scott, and Mackenzie Scott became the richest woman alive.
Mackenzie Scott is now the richest woman in the world,
worth $38 billion. This is the most expensive divorce of all time. Mackenzie Scott, S tier. Quick shout out and thank you to my channel member, John W. I really do appreciate your support on the channel. Join the other members down below. And if you like this video, check out my last video. I rank every single one of these billionaires' luxury cars. See you in the next one.